All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is week number 10, day number 5, the final day of online school for the 2019-2020 school year. And so as you can see, I'm in the playground over here of the Carver building. Looks like we need to do a little bit of sweeping and a little bit of raking of the leaves and the sticks before you all come back. But we wanted to continue the tradition that we have every year on the very last day of school of lighting some fireworks. So since you can't be here physically with us today, we're going to go ahead and light the fireworks anyway and film it so you too can celebrate the end of the year from wherever you're watching this. All right, well, thanks for joining me. Without any further delay, let's light them up. It's not going still. I think this one just hates me. There we go. Okay. That was fun, wasn't it? All right, so wherever you are, let's stop and let's go ahead and make sure we say our Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're wearing a hat like me, go ahead and take it off. Place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last day of school for the year. We miss you. We're looking forward to seeing you again. And for those of you who are going on to high school, congratulations. I could not be prouder of you. All right, folks, let's get to the day's lesson. right, ladies and gentlemen, today is the very last day of online school for us for the 2019-2020 school year. It is week number 10, day number 5. And if you are wondering if I burned myself on those fireworks, the answer is yes. I burned a hole in my U of A shirt. Now I'm wearing my ASU shirt. All right. First and foremost, the very last hat that I have for our time together is a chef's hat. This hat. This hat is from Buckingham Palace, the palace where the royal family in England lives. And this is a chef hat that is worn by the chefs at Buckingham Palace. Isn't that cool? And so this is a hat that I'm borrowing from a friend who went to Buckingham Palace. And you know what? I don't think that this hat did not belong to a chef from Buckingham Palace. Just for fun, they sell the hats in the gift shop. So this is from the gift shop of Buckingham Palace. But the chefs do, from what I understand, they wear these hats. So I'm wearing the Queen's chef hat today for our last day together. All right, let's go ahead and go over the schedule. So for our life skills, we're discussing empathy today for our last life skills class together. For our last current events lesson, we are talking about something that is completely relevant. We're talking about the protests for Black Lives Matter and the anti-protests and how K-pop fans are coming to the rescue. That was kind of fun. In history, we're not doing anything. In literature, we're reading the conclusion for the book. In science, we are not doing anything. And then in Math Group 1, we are talking about multiplying factorials. And in Math Group 2, we are going over the happy face method for the distributive property. So, hope you're looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and dive into this last day of ours, week number 10, day number 5. Eighth graders, make sure it's on. It's on. Okay. There are so many things that I wish I still had time to teach you. The year was cut short, and even when the year isn't cut short, I always feel like there's not enough time. But since today is the last life skills lesson where I just get to talk to you from the heart, there's no curriculum involved, nothing like that. I find myself wondering what is the last thing that I really want to share with you, wearing this ridiculous hat and these headphones covering my ears in a most uncomfortable fashion. And I think what that thing is empathy. Understanding what it is to feel the pain or the happiness or just the feelings of someone else. The ability to put yourself in their shoes, to try and better understand people who are not you. That's what empathy is at its core. And in life, being able to be empathetic can help you, not just in being like a touchy-feely person. Empathy can help you in so many ways. So let's talk about that for a second. When you show empathy to others, you, how do you say it? Empathy is a gift, and it can be used in ways to comfort and console. It can be used in ways for defensive purposes. You can use it offensively to your advantage. Empathy is an amazing skill, right? And developing empathy is so important, right? Let me give you a couple examples, right? A friend loses a family member. Maybe their mother dies. The ability to empathize with them, to imagine what it would be like to lose your own mother. That ability to sit down and cry with them and be there for them will strengthen your friendship and encourage your friend. It nurtures people. It helps them. And it helps you to build those bonds with them. But it's not just for that. Empathy can be used defensively. If somebody is trying to attack you, if somebody is after you and they don't like you, Empathy can be used to root out the motivations of this person. Figure out why they feel what they feel. Why are they attacking you? If you know why they're attacking you and the cause of the attack, you can better defend yourself and root them out. It can be used offensively in different ways. If you are truly empathetic and can truly understand what other people are thinking and feeling, you can use empathy to your benefit in different ways where the other person doesn't even realize that you are being offensive and you are maybe not attacking, but manipulating is a negative word, but it doesn't always have to be used in a negative or defeating way. You can use your empathy to manipulate the situation and turn it around for your benefit. And that's how you can use empathy in an offensive way. And some people would say, well, Mr. Roll, being manipulative in any way is unfair. That's not true. In life, if you want to get things done, you have to convince others that the thoughts and plans and ideas that you have are worth it. And sometimes you have to convince other people to help themselves. Years and years ago, when I was working at a clinic for HIV and AIDS orphans, we had a preventative program, and I don't want to get too far into it, but we followed this ABC system. It was something that the second Bush administration came up with and was spreading all across Africa. And even though we were in the middle of this HIV/AIDS epidemic, and about a third of the adults in the area I was in had it, people were reluctant to get tested for HIV/AIDS. And so people like me and our team would have to go out and convince people that getting tested for HIV/AIDS was safe, and it would allow us to put them on antiretroviral drugs, and it would also allow us to stop the spread of AIDS, which was just killing entire adult communities and leaving families of grandparents and orphans to struggle. And so we had to empathize with the people that we wanted to help. So we were not manipulating the people for our benefit or our gain in any way. We were offensively empathizing with them, understanding that they were scared and understanding why they were resistant to the HIV/AIDS test, so that we could navigate the conversations and, yes, manipulate them into doing something that would help them and their families. And so empathy, again, can be used to build bonds. It can be used to heal other people. It can be used to defend yourself in different situations. And it can be used offensively in order to convince others of something that is good for them or helpful for them, or convince them that your point is a valid one. And so empathy is such a useful skill. Understanding other people, being able to put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their way of thinking is so important. And it's not something that I can really teach. It's something that you have to start focusing on. Yeah, it's something you have to think about. You have to ask yourself, well, if I were this person, what would I be feeling right now? What's going on in this person's life that's causing them to react in a certain way? And over time, as you begin to experience other people and you begin to talk with other people and form bonds with them, you can ask them, hey, why did you react this way? Why did you feel this way? And when they tell you what happened and what was going on in here, they can either confirm or they can correct the suppositions that you had made about them when you were trying to be empathetic. And over time, by having your suppositions either confirmed or redirected and corrected over and over again, you can learn to be empathetic, and you can start learning to identify what people are thinking and feeling ahead of time in order to be able to, again, preemptively understand them better. One of the things that I like to tell a lot of people, because I used to do a lot of international travel and used to work in different communities, communities that had cultures that were vastly different than ours. And when I would bring other people on board, when I would bring other Westerners on board who were like maybe Americans or British or Australian, and we would sit down and we would talk about how to work with others, I would always tell them, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, everybody pretty much wants the same thing. Everybody has certain needs. You know, we have needs for shelter, we have needs for companionship, we have needs for food, we have needs for security, we have needs for our children. And so everybody has pretty much the same wants and desires, whatever culture you're from or wherever in the world you are from. And once you figure out how their thinking aligns with those needs, you can figure out kind of what drives them and what compels them to do certain things. And so kids, one of the truths that we're seeing in all these protests recently is that we are all the same. People are all the same. The things that you feel, you're not the only one who feels them. Other people feel them too. And empathy is the ability to identify in others other things that they might be feeling. And by identifying those feelings and internalizing those feelings yourself, and even perhaps feeling some of those feelings yourself, you create understanding. And so again, that understanding is not just helpful for others, it's helpful for you too. So I am telling you, do your best to be empathetic. Do your best to be empathetic for you, and do your best to be empathetic for those around you, so that you and those around you and those associated with you can all live better and happier lives. All right, that's it for life skills, kids. That is our last life skills talk for the year. And if any of you are bothered by this, I know I wore the wrong hat, and that's okay. I'm going to put on that baker's hat again for our next subject. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for our final day together, I wanted to pick a current event that was uplifting and fun, but still socially relevant to the things that are happening right now in the news. And so, if there's one thing we can agree upon, it's that African Americans in this country have the right to be treated with respect and dignity, just like everyone else. And up until this point, in some cases, they haven't been. And that's why the protests are so important. They're here to wake us up that the lives of the minorities in our community and the treatment of minorities in our community are not always fair and equal. But not everybody feels that way. And so a lot of people online have been taking over this hashtag, White Lives Matter, and it's an anti-protest against the peaceful protests that are out there, peacefully protesting the fact that African Americans have been getting a bum rap, right? And so people haven't been taking it lying down, and I love this. K-pop fans have come to the rescue. And so all of these anti-peaceful protest tweets from the hashtag White Lives Matter movement have been overwhelmed by K-pop fans. And so if you don't know, Korean pop, or K-pop for short, is a worldwide phenomenon, and K-pop bands and the K-pop industry in general is worth somewhere between $5 and $6 billion right now. K-pop, these people are singing in Korean, folks. Nobody here understands what they're saying unless you're from a Korean family. And yet, shows from bands like BTS sell out months in advance in the United States. Miss Kimmy was exasperated because she had to drive her daughter to one of these concerts in Phoenix recently. And so K-pop fans are a force to be dealt with, and they have come to the rescue. And so with hashtags like Whiteout Wednesday, where people who might be like white supremacists and other people who don't believe that African Americans deserve equal treatment and whatnot, they have been overwhelmed with Korean pop memes and things like that. And so this is just kind of a slice of life that is fun and entertaining. The Korean pop fans of the world are uniting in support of the peaceful protests that are going on right now over the death of George Floyd and so many others. And so, guys, the world can be a wonderful place when we all work together. And sometimes you can receive help from unlikely allies, like Korean pop fans. A reading is going to be very short, so I'm just going to keep this hat on. The Sherlock Holmes hat, my boys were playing with it. And I don't know what they did with it, so I'm just going to wear this hat. All right, this is it. So endeth this chronicle. It being strictly a history of a boy, it must stop here. The story could not go on much further without becoming the history of a man. When one writes a novel about grown people, he knows exactly where to stop, that is, with a marriage. But when he writes of juveniles, he must stop where he best can. Most of the characters that perform in this book still live and are prosperous and happy. Some days it may seem worthwhile to take up the story of the younger ones again and see what sort of men and women they turned out to be. Therefore, it will be wisest not to reveal any of that part of their lives at present. So, what Mark Twain is saying here is that he can't keep on writing about these kids without writing about them as adults because they're growing up so quickly. And also, when you're writing about kids, you just kind of have to end wherever it feels the best, you know? Now, this is not the end of the story, because the adventures of Tom Sawyer continue in the next book, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And so this is not the only book that has these characters in it. So if you like these characters, and I know I do, Mark Twain has several other books where these characters make appearances and we find out what happens to Tom Sawyer, to Huckleberry Finn, and to Becky and all of the rest, as they get a little bit older. All right, that is the end of our book. I hope you enjoyed The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. All right, hey Group 1. So really quick before we start, this is our last lesson in our last class of the year for 2019-2020. And I just want to say what a pleasure it was to have you all in my classroom. And for those of you who are coming back, I am really looking forward to seeing you again and having you in class with us again. And for those of you who are moving on to high school, I just want to say how proud I am of all of you. And I know that you're going to do great in high school and in wherever you end up after that. If you do, remember me. Invite me to your graduation in 4 years when you complete high school. I'm proud of you now, and I would love to be proud of you then as well. All right, so let's get started. So we are finishing out with factorials today. And as you already know, a factorial is represented with an exclamation point. And if we have a factorial, what it means is that number moving all the way down to 1 is multiplied. And so yesterday we learned how to divide with factorials. So we learned that if we have like a number like 12 factorial and 11 factorial, the answer is going to be 12 over 1 because 11 and down all cancel out. We also learned that if we flip it around, so let's say we had like 21 factorial and it was over 22 factorial, we would get 1 over 22 in the end, just like that. We also learned that if the factorials didn't completely cancel out, like say we had 10 factorial over 12 factorial, the top would cancel out and we'd be left with, we'd be left with 12 times 11 on the bottom, just like that, which would equal 1 over, what is that? I can't think right now. Let's see here, that'd be 120, 132. Okay, like that. All right, because we'd have to take the 12 times the 11 like that. And so dividing with factorials, ironically, dividing is usually harder than multiplying, but with dividing with factorials is actually pretty straightforward. It's nice. Like, it's nice to actually have something as you get more and more advanced with math that is just easy and effortless, you know. And so dividing with factorials is one such thing, you know. If we have, again, you know, something like this, again, that equals 1 on the bottom. We have 210 times 209 on the top. We have to do the math for that now. Just like that, okay? And so again, the division isn't so hard with factorials, which is nice. So today, we're going to learn how to multiply with factorials. Multiplying factorials. Now, unfortunately, multiplying with factorials is a lot harder. And so when you multiply with factorials, you have to find the standard solution. I'll just say find the standard number. So we have to take it out of the factorial form, and we find the standard number. Then the next thing we do is multiply the standard numbers. So we actually, there's no shortcut on this. We have to multiply standard numbers. So again, when we're working with factorials, and let's say we have like a 4 factorial times 2 factorial, we have to figure out what 4 factorial equals and what 2 factorial equals. So we have to take 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 2 times 1, okay? And so this one just equals 2. We already know that. 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24, okay? Is that right? Yeah, that's right, okay. And so now we get 2 times 24, which gives us 48. So again, when we're doing factorials and we're multiplying, we actually have to solve the factorial, and then we multiply the solutions together. Let's do another one. So if we have 5 factorial times 6 factorial, again, we have to figure out what 5 factorial is, okay, and what 6 factorial is. So 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Over here. Over here, we have to figure out what 6 times 5 times 4 times, 3 times 2 times 1, like that. All right, and then let's see here. That gives us 20 times 3, which is 60, times 2, which equals 120. All right, and let's see here. So we already know that 5 factorial equals 120. So all of that is 120, and then we have to multiply it by 6. Let's see here. We get 2, 6, 7, 720. Okay, so we get 120 times 720, because 5 factorial is 120 and 6 factorial is 720, just like that. All right, and so now we have to figure out what 120 times 720 is, and that'll give us our final answer. So as you can kind of tell, right, there are a lot more steps in multiplying with factorials than there are in dividing with factorials. And so again, this is one of those few cases in life where doing the multiplication is a lot trickier than doing the division. Okay, so the answer is 86,400. So wait a second, what was the original problem again? Oh yeah, that's right, 5 factorial times 6 factorial. And what is the answer? 5 factorial times 6 factorial? Oh yeah, 86,400. Holy cow, okay? Look at how high that jumped. Wow, okay? So, multiplying factorials, again, there's no easy shortcut. I'll do one more. But the thing to remember is that there's no easy shortcut. You have to solve the factorials for the standard number, and then you just multiply them together. All right, one more, and again, these factorials get so crazy big. this will be, I'll just do 7 factorial times 6 factorial. Whoops. 7 factorial times 6 factorial. Now we just figured out that 6 factorial is 720. Okay, so 6 factorial we already know is 720 from the last problem. And if 6 factorial is 720, then it stands to reason that 7 factorial, which is 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, is just 720, which is 6 factorial, times the other 7. So let's do that. 720 times 7. Whoops, what is that? It should be a 7. Okay. So again, we already know that 6 factorial is that. Okay. 14, 1 up there, 7 times 7 is 4950. 5,000. Whew. Okay, so 7 factorial, 5,040. Like that. So 6 factorial is 720, and 7 factorial is 5,040. And so to figure out what 7 factorial times 6 factorial is, we now have to multiply 5,040 times 720. Again, these factorials are insane when it comes to like getting really large really fast. Eight, 0, 10. Wow, okay. 0, 7 times 4 is 28. 2, okay, wait, are these lined up? Okay, 0, yeah, 28, yeah. 2, yeah. Okay, and then 35. Good. 0, 0, 8, 8, 2. Whoops, that's a 6 and a 3. Whew, 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 whew. So, 7, let me just rewrite all this. 7 factorial times 6 factorial. Whoops, that doesn't. Come on, Matt. I mean, Mr. Roll. 7 factorial times 6 factorial is the same thing as 5,040 times 7,020, and both of them equal 3 million. Is that right? Yeah, 3,628,800. Wow. So when you're using factorials, you're not even to double digits yet doing double digit multiplication. We're still in single digits, 7 factorial times 6 factorial. And the answer is already in the millions. Whew. So factorials get real big real fast, kids. And I hope that you remember how factorials work and just a little bit about them, even though we didn't get a chance to discuss them like in person this year. Last thing I'll say, I know Julio and Tegan already emailed me about this, but if you're interested in doing any volunteer work over the summer, we could sure use some help. We have a lot of work to do in order to get the school ready for next year, and keeping the school interesting and fun while also keeping everybody safe. And so there's a couple of things that we're working on to make things safe for everybody and still fun and inviting and a fun place to be. So if you would like to help us at all, just send me an email and let me know. I'm going to really miss you guys, those of you who are not coming back with us next year, going to high school or whatnot, and I wish you the best. And for those of you who I'm going to see in a couple months, I look forward to it. I am going to do my very best to lose the 10 pounds that I've gained since we've been in lockdown house arrest mode or whatever. And again, looking forward to seeing you guys. Take care. All right, group 2. For the last thing we do for this year, I thought we'd go back and we do something a little more fun. So we are going to be reviewing or going over distributed property, and I don't know that we did this year. I feel like we did, but I'm not sure that we did. So, taking this last lesson to do something totally different. So, distributed property, we also call it the rainbow. Remember? Rainbow! So if we have, like, let's say we have a 3 over here and x plus 2 over here, all right? As you all know, we distribute it to the inside, or we rainbow to the inside. Rainbow. Yay. Yay, it's fun because we say rainbow. It's kind of like the wizard, okay? But basically, the rainbow shows us where we need to be doing the multiplication. So the multiplication goes in. So it's 3 times x and then 3 times 2. 3x plus 6. Let's do another one. If we have a variable on the outside, we rainbow it into the inside. So y times x is xy. And 8y. Boom. Done. Okay? So you remember how that works. It's just kind of a simple, you rainbow it in and do a little multiplication, and you're done. So what happens if we have 2 terms on both sides, right? So let's say we have x plus 1 and x plus 2, like this. Uh-oh. There's like 2 things on both sides. That's when we do the smiley face method. And so the smiley face method is a little bit like Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street, like how, was it Ernie or Bert who has like the unibrow? So this smiley face has a unibrow, kids. So when we do it, we have 1 eyebrow. Whoop. We have 2 eyebrows. Whoop. See, the eyebrows cross. It's real weird. We have a nose. Do, do, do. And we have a big old smile. Yay. Smiley face. Right? Okay, so what does this mutant smiley face mean? Well, it means x times x. Okay, so x times x gives us x squared. We have 1 times 2, which is 2. We have 1 times x, which is x. And then we have x times 2, which is 2x. There we go. And so now that we have this, we can see that we can combine the x plus 2x. And so that gives us x squared plus 3x plus 2. And that all came from the smiley face method. Eyebrow, eyebrow, nose, mouth. Just like that. Smiley face method. I'm going to do this with you guys 5 times. Okay, so you can see it over and over and over again. Now, smiley face method is a fun and easy way to remember these kinds of problems. So when you see it, you don't lock up. You're not like, ah, I forgot. You look at that and you're just like, can I make a smiley face out of that? My math teacher was really dumb when I was in middle school, and now that's all I can do, right? No, hopefully you'll learn more, okay? But anyway, let's take another look here. So we have x plus 2, okay? X plus 8. All right, smiley face method. Eyebrow, eyebrow, nose, and mouth. All right, so we get x squared from the first eyebrow. Our second eyebrow gives us 16. Our nose gives us 2x. And our big old smiley face gives us 8x, just like that. The 2x and the 8x combine, and we get x squared plus 10x plus 16. Really quick reminder, I just want to point out the order that we list things in. We always list it in the order of exponents. And so this figure has the highest exponent, or this term has the highest exponent. This term has the next highest exponent because there's an understood 1 right there. And this one has the lowest exponent on the variable because there is no variable. So by default, it comes last. All right, that's why I'm rewriting them in that order. But again, eyebrow, eyebrow, nose, mouth. Combined terms, write them in the correct order, done. All right, that was 1. Let's do another. Let's see here. Let's use, who do I think is watching this? I'm hoping Aiden is watching this. Aiden, I hope you're watching this. Okay, so let's do an A plus 2 for Aiden and an A plus 3 for Aiden. Actually, 1 is for Aiden and 1 is for Amber. How about that? Okay, because I hope you're both watching this and your names both start with A. Okay, so eyebrow, eyebrow, nose, and mouth. There we go. So our first eyebrow gives us an A squared. Our next eyebrow gives us a 6. Our nose gives us a 2a, and our smiley face gives us a 3a. We can combine the 2a, we can combine the 3a, so we get a squared plus 5a plus 6. Good deal. Okay, that was 2 problems. Okay, I told you we would do 5. All right, on to the next. Let's see here. Who else do I hope is watching this? Let's use T for Toby and Tegan, since you both start with T. So we'll do T plus 9 and T plus 10. Eyebrow, eyebrow, nose, and smiley face. Okay. So our first eyebrow gives us a T squared. Our second eyebrow gives us 90. Our nose gives us a 9T. And our smiley face gives us a 10T. We notice that 9T and 10T can combine. And so our final answer is T squared plus 19T plus 90. And there we go. Excellent. All right, so that was our third problem. I hope you think these are kind of easy. I mean, it's maybe the first time that you've seen this if we didn't get a chance to like really go over it before. But I hope that it kind of makes sense to you. Okay? All right, well, let's keep on going. Now let's mix up the variables. All right? Let's have an R for Riley. I hope she's watching. R plus 1. And let's do Z for Zamarius. Okay? Now, even though we have different variables here, we can absolutely still do this. But our answer is going to look a little bit different on the back end. So, our first eyebrow gives us R times Z. Our second eyebrow gives us 2. Now, remember, when I do a Z, I always put the line through it so you can distinguish it from a 2. All right, let's see, our nose gives us a Z, and our mouth gives us a 2R. So now we can't combine any terms, and when we write this, you usually write the one with the most variables first. So we have RZ, and then often it just goes in alphabetical order. Sometimes there isn't even an order. I do like to do it in alphabetical order, but technically if you don't, it is not wrong. So our answer for this one is RZ plus R plus Z times 2. Got it? So this one is not nearly as compact. We have 1 term, 2, 3, 4 terms. Normally we only see 3 terms, but it is correct nonetheless. All right, that was the third problem. Let's go on to a fourth problem. Let's use a, let's see here, let's use a J for Julio, all right, and plus 2. And let's use an L for Lucy, all right. Let's also do it plus 2, okay. J to L, 2 to 2, 2 to L, J to 2. Okay, so our first eyebrow gives us J times L. Good. Our second eyebrow gives us a 4. Our nose gives us a 2L. And our smiley face gives us a J2. Again, we cannot combine these terms like before, so we'll just go ahead and rewrite them in order. So we have JL plus A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So J, whoops, 2J. 2 comes first, then J. K, L. There we go. So we have JL plus 2J plus 2L plus 4. We're done. Okay, and so we have that. Excellent. And then lastly, let's go ahead and we'll have an H for Hazel. Am I forgetting anybody? I know we have Allie. We already did A. If I do Allie, is that everyone? Gosh, I feel really guilty if I'm forgetting somebody. I apologize if I forgot somebody. I really, really, really did not mean to. So let's do an H for Hazel and an A for Allie for our last one. I feel like we had 10 people, and I just did 10. Yeah, okay. All right, so our first eyebrow gives us an A, A-H. All right. Our second eyebrow gives us a 12. Our nose gives us a 3A. And our smiley face gives us a 4H. We rewrite it in order. AH plus 3A plus 4H plus 12. And we're done. Can't believe it's the end of the year. Like, part of me is like super happy because I just have so much work to do these days. We're trying to get ready for next year, and we're looking at what other countries are doing to keep their schools safe. And we're freaking out a little bit because schools in Israel and schools in South Korea and several European countries have had to close for a second or third time. And we're afraid that if we don't do something smart, then we're also going to have to close. And so it's a little scary. But then on the other hand, like, we just want to get back to normal, and everyone's freaking out about it. But in a way, I don't want to let last year go yet, the 1920 school year. I think it's just I miss you guys. Julio and Tegan asked if they could do some volunteer work down at the school over the summer. We would love that. If anybody else wants to come and volunteer, we're going to have plenty of stuff to do starting in mid to late June. And if any of you Group 2 kids want to come on back and do some work, or if you have any friends from Group 1 or otherwise who would like to join us, absolutely. I don't know. I don't think I gave this invitation to Group 1. I feel kind of bad for that. But Group 1 is a lot bigger than you guys, and if everybody from Group 1 came, it might be a little dangerous with coronavirus and like all the social distancing and stuff. You guys are a smaller group, and so it's a little easier to control for that. But yeah, I'm really going to miss you guys. And if any of you do want to volunteer over the summer, just let me know, like Tegan and Julio did. And we are happy to get you to come on down and help. We're going to be doing some very creative things to make school fun for kids at the beginning of next year. And I'm kind of excited to share our ideas with you guys because they are unique and a little strange. So anyway, you guys, I miss you. I hope everything goes well for you guys in the future, for those of you going to high school, and I wish you all the very best. All right, this is Mr. Roll signing off for the year. Take care, everybody.